What happens if your parents pass away without a will and they still owe money on the mortgage? This is how the probate process is going to work. You get the death certificate. You file that death certificate with the petition for probate at the probate courts in the county where your family lived. And so then they will open up the probate process, appoint you as the administrator. It's now your responsibility to pay off debts, manage the assets inside the estate, and then distribute those assets out to the beneficiaries once those debts are paid. And so you have to publicly notify creditors that that individual has passed away. They will come to you and say, hey, this individual owed us money for these debts. You take money inside the estate and pay those debts off. It could be your checking, savings, investment accounts, etc. If you don't have enough money inside the estate, you have to start selling off physical assets, which could be things like the home. And so if you do have enough liquid assets, which would be the money, to pay off those debts, and you don't have to sell that home, then that home would get distributed per the intestate laws of your state. As an example, in Georgia, the kids and the spouse get an even distribution of those assets, with the spouse getting a minimum of 1/3. And so if it's only kids left, they have to take over ownership of that property together and decide what to do with that property together. And so once you have, while it's in the probate process, that home, the administrator is responsible for making those payments out of the estate. And then once it gets distributed out to the kids, it's their responsibility to make those payments out of their own pocket. And when they take over the ownership of that property, they can then go to the bank and say, hey, our parents passed, we went through probate, and now we own it. We'd like to transfer the mortgage into our name. And then it's up to the lender as to what they do with that situation. If you want to avoid this, you can put the property and other assets inside of a revocable trust. Those assets will then avoid the probate process and be distributed directly down to your kids or your surviving spouse when you pass away, and avoid the probate process altogether. If you want help setting this up, click the link in the bio, fill out the form, and schedule a time to talk to someone on our team.